Choo choo! I love train games, and I love builders. Railway Empire 2 is the next iteration of the series. Will you ride the rails to new strategic depths, or will you be derailed in your quest? If you don't want to end up at the bottom of a ravine, watch on and find out. My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play. I know I'm always saying that I have a soft spot for a genre, or that I love a particular type of game, but I really do like train games. Train builder games are a tippy top for me in many cases. From Railroad Tycoon to Sid Meier's Railroads, I have put many, many hours into these games. I put over 19 hours into the first Railway Empire, so I was really excited to see that a second game had come out. I've got about 9 hours in Railway Empire 2 by Gaming Mind Studios. With nearly 20 hours into the first game, I had pretty high expectations for the second game. I don't want to say that I was let down, but the reality is that Railway Empire 2 is predominantly an evolution of the first title and not really a revolution. If you put a ton of hours into the first game, you will immediately feel at home in Railway Empire 2. I will give a lot of credit to Gaming Minds for fixing many of the serious toil and grind issues with the original Railway Empire. Setting up crossing railroad tracks outside of a station was a huge pain in the bits, and now there's essentially a one-button way to do it. Just about every normal action in Railway Empire 2 is a little easier. They ditched the management of individual train crews in favor of a higher-level management of all of your employee fleet. Upgrading stations is now gone, and instead you can simply start off building any of the 8 tracks that a station can support. Railway routing is also dramatically improved, with the game even offering to fully automatically run parallel lines in many cases. Switching and track directionality is also much easier. In the quote-unquote what's new category, you will find an improved warehousing and freight routing system. You can establish warehouses and specify which goods to hold, and route freight trains between stations. The game automatically figures out that, say, Pittsburgh wants salt, and that salt mine is up in Bangor, Maine has it. So the freight trains that run between stations along the way will pick it up and drop it off appropriately. This is a pretty big improvement over the previous system of having to run a single stupid freight train halfway across the map to get cows somewhere. But freight routing on individual lines can still be a pain and isn't super clear. You have to figure out that you need to explicitly tell a freight train to drop off goods, which may include quote-unquote removing cargo cars at a station. I sent the same load of beef in a circle for quite a while before I realized what was wrong with the route. The same core of the game is there, so you won't be disappointed if you love the first installation. The campaign takes you through several different time periods and missions with ever-escalating goals. You start small, having to ferry small loads of cargo to and fro, ultimately growing your railway with more stations, the goal of growing cities and hitting population targets in different regions, and so on and so forth. Sometimes, expanding your operations requires that you purchase access to a new area, similar to zoning in a game like Cities Skylines. The system of stock purchases and corporate rivals is there, with a new saboteur system that you can use to, well, sabotage your opponents. I didn't find it all that particularly useful. There's the expected system of being able to take out and repay loans with interest, but honestly, if you're patient, you'll probably never need to use it when the difficulty setting allows for full refunds of your existing infrastructure. And that brings us to some of the problems with the game. The main one is that, honestly, it's still the same game as the first. It's a historical-based game, so the timeline for when trains and other inventions and improvements become available matches history. You're not going to get that fancy 4884 locomotive in the early 1800s unless you're playing some weird custom scenario. The research tree looks quite a lot like the one from the previous game. I found myself in the same game loop over and over, and barely made it into the second campaign before I decided that I had had enough. Build new city station. Run both dedicated passenger line and freight line between it and previous station. Look at what goods new city wants. Look at mission objectives. Either build rural business stations or repeat city expansion until all mission objectives are completed. Oh, a new train is available? Update all the existing ones as the budget allows. Repeat, repeat, repeat. That doesn't mean this game is bad. It just means that unless you're an absolute train fanatic and would put hundreds of hours into anything with trains, you might get bored because you've seen it all before if you've played the first title. Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share with your friends. Agree with me, disagree with me, or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict. If you've never played Railway Empire 1, the second installment is totally worth starting with. The quality of life improvements really make the game accessible, and in spite of the lingering flaws with some systems around rail routing, switching, and so forth, the game is totally solid, approachable, and rewarding. On my trademarked 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, dining cars are totally cool, but how many times can you really have a beer and a burger on the New York-Boston Express before you realize that you've done this a time or two before? Meh.